Okay, folks, so today we have Dr. Parvati Dev. She's from the 68 batch electronics SN Hall, and she will regale us with her trip to Mount Fuji. And Kalyan is a husband, and he's sitting right next to her. So he's going to pitch in when he can.
Don't
So,
forget, he's my classmate.
and classmate too. Wow.
Yes.
That is amazing. And someone told me, I won't mention the name, that Kalyan is the brightest IIT ever produced. But that name will be not mentioned, you know. And with that, Parvati, the floor is all yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So this is, of course, Kolan and me. I'm going to do most of the talking, but every now and again, there are certain stories that he is best to tell. So this is actually a very recent trip. We're just in May. We were in Japan 2 months ago, and we had gone to see an old friend. We have reached a stage of our life when we want to see our old relatives and our old friends because we may never go there again. So we decided to go to Japan pretty much on a quick decision, and that's what we did. So they live near Mount Fuji, which is why we're going to talk about it. And we really did not do the standard tourist thing. We just hung out with the locals. So now I've got to figure out how to. Now the Zoom has taken over my. So I can't move forward. Maybe if I go to. Maybe try down. Oh, thank you. Okay.
Oh, good.
So I'm going to label it day 0, day 1, etc.
Sure.
So we left on a Saturday from San Francisco and took Japan Airlines because it was the only airline that took us directly from San Francisco to an airport called Haneda, which is an airport of Tokyo that nobody hears about, but is actually hugely convenient. All the locals use it. On the way, of course, I had to take this photo of this fantastic Alaskan scenery. I was just mesmerized. And then we reached Haneda. Just to show you where Haneda is, if you can see, unless your thing is hiding, let me move this to this side.
That's good. We can see it.
You can see it. Narita
Oh, yeah.
Airport is
We
in
see.
the far corner northeast, right? Tokyo is in the middle. So it's a long way from Narita to Tokyo. From Haneda, in 15 minutes, you're in Shinagawa, which is the heart of Tokyo. So we went into Haneda, and we also wanted to go southwards towards Mount Fuji and our friends. So here we are in Haneda Airport. Every place is incredibly busy, incredibly bright. We look rather chipper, I have to say, for an 11.5-hour flight. And then Kolan, of course, being Kolan, said, nobody's picking us up, no limousine. He is going to navigate the transportation system. So Manik, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, we figured out how to get to where we wanted to go, which was about a couple of hours by train and so on. Our hosts wanted to meet us at the airport, but we said no. We'll navigate the system. And I did my homework. I found out where the trains from Haneda to Shinagawa run. And then from Shinagawa, we took these things called Shinkansen. The ticketing is a complex system, but we navigated it. Most of the signs are in Japanese, but English signage is fairly common. And so it's not a problem.
We needed something called the Suica card, which is what buys you the tickets in most of the transportation system. And that needs cash because we wouldn't use our credit card for some reason. It was a challenge, but we got it all done. Of course, this is the most basic money note. And then once we reached,
Once you're on the train system, the signage looks like this.
oh, sorry.
It's interesting that the fast trains are not labeled at all. They all look the same exactly. So you have to look at the signs very carefully and make sure you get on the right train. You're in the system, and there are compartments that are reserved and unreserved and so on. And so you have to be careful about where you board.
So there are 3 fast trains. The Nozomi is super fast. You get into Nozomi, you are whipped off to Nagoya with barely one stop.
Yeah.
In between is the one that everybody knows, the Hikari, which is the standard fast train. And then there's the Kodama, which means slow. It's still very fast, like 125 miles per hour or something, but it stops at many stations. And so we had to take the Kodama. And this is, of course, a different photo, but I wanted to show you what these trains look like. I don't know if you can hear the voice or the sound.
Oh, this is a bullet train.
It is the bullet train. These are all the
Shinkansen.
Shinkansen trains. Those 3 are all Shinkansen. Right? And they all look the same.
So notice how they have the fencing over there.
So every compartment is numbered just in case you're going and using these. If you have a reserve compartment, get the right one. And it stops right in front.
Yeah, by the way, the platforms are
Right
marked with
on
places to
the
line up all the compartments.
And
So
everybody lines up. You
everybody
better be
follows the
don't
rules.
jump the line and all that. So this was our train, and of course, middle of the night, those guys had to show up.
So here we are at our final destination, a town called Odawara.
And this is Mr. Hisatoyo Kato, or what we call him, Toyo. And with a formal hello to Kolan. Kolan and he were at Stanford together.
This is a family that we've known for over 40 years, and off and on. Our families have visited and stayed with each other. We've taken trips together. We've taken camping trips.
So the whole point was to visit them.
Yeah.
Of course, they don't see it that way. We are coming to visit them. They have to look after us. So you'll see the rest. So we went to the hotel, which was absolutely next to the airport. Day 2 was local staff. This is the window out of our hotel. Looking east, you look across Sagami Bay, and Kolan every morning took these beautiful sunrise pictures. You can see Odawara laid out below us. It's supposedly a small town. It's a mighty big town as
It's
far as
big.
I'm concerned. And on the other side, this is a little Google Map view, which shows that our hotel, Red Dot, is right on top of the train station. All those yellow things are platforms. And this is looking out across the train station area, see all the train lines below. And now this looks towards the mountains. This looks west. And all the time.
Down below us are the trains scurrying around.
So many different lines. And so we had to take what's called the Daiyuzan, or the mighty slow line, or also known as the milk train, local train. So we took a local train, and I want to just show you local train. This is a high-speed film of a slow local train going through Odawara. Everything is 1 and 2 story mostly. And then tiny little platform stops everywhere. The conductor gives you true white glove service. He literally wears white gloves. And he steps out, checks the people, comes back. We go past the fields. We're out in the countryside, kind of. And then eventually we reach there. Oh, there's another teeny one here.
I'm a little bit of a train buff. I follow trains all over the world and so on. I was very impressed with the local train system that they have here. It's a single track system. And it's amazing the frequency with which trains running in both directions. Every 15 minutes, you'll get the next train. I used to worry about should we look up the train times and so on. There's no need to. Just show up, and within a few minutes, there'll be the next train along. Trains are running in both directions on a single track system. They cross at stations, and it's pretty amazing to see the efficiency with which they do this.
So we got out at the station at the other end. We told them, don't meet us. We're going to find your house. We took the map. We walked about 10, 15 minutes, and we reached their house. And this is it. It's by a little stream, the stream behind me. And just to tell you a little story about the house is like out of a Sears catalog of the old days. They looked in the catalog and they ordered a house. And the house parts came. It all was put up here. This is about 50 years ago, when Fuji film was new. They love to travel, so they have an RV, go up and down Japan. And this is Keiko Kato. She's also a good friend of ours. And so we're very happy to see each other.
Yeah, our friend Hisatoyo has been a long-term employee of Fuji Film, and he rose to becoming associate managing director before he retired. He's now retired.
He used to head up Fuji Medical Imaging for the longest time. And so every year he would come to the same radiology show that I would go to show our product. So we were in touch every year. Pretty often he stopped off at our place on his way there or back. So here we are in the house. There's Toyo and Keiko. And it's a small house.
Everything in Japan is very small compared to here. I mean,
on this side, as though we are sitting in the house, even though it's small, it has a tatami room, a formal room with a bamboo mat floor, with a niche for their. I should have shown you a photograph of that. But otherwise, the house is jam-packed, small. So then, of course, they said, you're here to see local sightseeing, so we will take you around. It's not that we haven't seen these years and years ago, but we've forgotten everything. So just to show you, bottom right, Odawara. This is the town we are in. In dark, Minami Ashigara. That is the town they are in. That is the town in which Fujifilm is in. The train, the little black line, goes up there to Dayuzan. I don't know if you can see my cursor. It's probably can't see it. If in red, you see Ashigara Pass. There's the ridge of mountains going from south to north on the map, and Fuji is on your far left. So from Minami Ashigara, you can get views, little small views, but we wanted to go to Ashigara Pass for a good view. And then we just toured around this whole area that morning. So we have driven up a windy road to the pass. And funnily enough, we reached the top, and there is this character there. And his name is Kintaro. And this is the mascot of Minami Ashigara. And the local town was doing some ad video recording. And they said hi to us. And then off they went up this little hill to the top to get that good view of Mount Fuji where they were
yes.
video.
In front of
And
Mount Fuji, you're right.
went up there as well. So he took off his head and off he went, I tell you.
So he's a headless man.
Headless man with a human head now. So went up the stairs, and you can see what a gorgeous view you have of Mount Fuji. That's a selfie, but we took so many photos and videos, and sometimes you just stood there and you just enjoyed the whole thing. The clouds, the little clouds move fast, and Toyo really pushed us out of the house to go to see this view because he said, it's a very good day today. Very few people see this absolutely clear view. Come along before the clouds come. By the time we reached there, the clouds had started coming. But still, we got a great view. And these clouds just whiz past. That's the same cloud, by the way. That cloud on the left side of the mountain now is on the right side. That's how fast it goes. So then we went around a little. Just down the hill, there was this shrine. It's a Shinto shrine. The Buddhist shrines look very similar. I said, I can't tell the difference. And Toyo said, no, I can tell by looking at it that this is a Shinto shrine, not a Buddhist shrine. So anyway, this is a small Shinto shrine by the local people. This is what's inside. The shrine was closed, but I went up there, rang the bell, and then peeped in through this little crack. And there's all these books and cushion and papers. And of course, there's no god as such. Shintoism is ancestor worship and animal worship and rock worship and river worship, kind of like what we, have. And these little objects which we are familiar with as part of the shrine. Then we drove a little further, around a little more. It's really fascinating. Every little patch of ground is cultivated. And I asked, oh, which company is doing this? They said, no, no, no. Families, if they have a patch of ground, a garden area, they grow something. Vegetables, rice, whatever. And so they put up, this is a very beautiful little house we passed. You can see the house back there. They had this house with the same little patch of garden. Great rocks in front. It just is a pleasure to see. And here's a couple doing their gardening. They're planting onions. So they're up there, all working away. It's not even like they get servants. They do their own thing. We were tired by that time, and lunch was not going to be till 3 o'clock because the family had to come from Tokyo. So we stopped at a tea house. It's called Tenguchaya. So this is a very traditional tea house. They also have their confectionery. They're famous for their confectionery, which is all rice and bean based, by the way, red beans, with a little bit of sweetened soy sometimes. And we had that tea. I should have shown the video. They had first press and second press, and they gave you the tea leaves separately in a little cup. And these were their confectionery that they serve. Each of these is a rice ball with different stuff on it. This one is a dried tea leaf. This one is sweetened soy paste. This one is just tea paste. Very mildly sweet. And that one is a cherry flower in sugar or in some sweet. They wanted us to see the cherry blossom. They said, it's not ready, but the earliest cherry blossoms are coming out in March. It's rather early, mid-March. So this is a variety called Harumeki, which was just starting to bud and to bloom. You can see buds and blooms. And they said, no, you're not seeing the real thing. What do we know? To us, these are cherry blossoms and they're very beautiful. But they said, no, we'll bring you back later. And then we went back to their house. This is the front door of their house. And the family had arrived.
So these are some scenes of us with the family enjoying a meal together and all that. These people came from Tokyo to see us when they were told that we were coming.
So we know them well. We've watched them grow up. Both of these kids have stayed with us in our house. Daishi, the eldest, the boy, stayed a month and a half with us, I think. He wanted to learn English better. And not only that, he learned English for sure, but he also learned all the latest music. He knew quite a bit, but he just would frequent the music store. And his favorite was I don't know, you all must all remember the song Pretty Woman. He loved Pretty Woman. So he even bought that CD. Yumi is their artist. She learned ceramics and she came from a town near Nagoya. And Keiko has put on a lavish meal, all cooked by her. I'll show you the next one. So this is sushi. It's a thing called chirashi sushi, where the sushi and the rice are all mixed up. Really tasty. This is pork loin. Took her 2 days of marination to make this one, and there was some other thing. So it was a big deal for them to have a wonderful meal with the whole family. And then this is Satsuki, who is Daishi's wife. They both live in, she's a nursery school teacher. And they brought Tokyo dessert for us, lovely cakes. And then we had some gifts for them, some Indian shawls and scarves that I'd brought from India and had stored, and they were very fascinated by the embroidery. And then Satsuki and Yumi modeled their scarves. So that was fun. And then, of course, we had our group picture, which we always have to do. And in fact, I didn't show it here, but Toyo pulled out the group picture of the time we all went to Alaska in an RV, the whole family. It was so amusing to see. The children were like teens and less. And we were so young, of course. So then we left to go back to the hotel. This is the milk train. Again, this is the outside view as it arrives. So day 3, I better keep track of the time. 8:57. Okay. So it's almost half an hour finished. Day 3, they all knew it was going to rain. So we were just going to relax. And Toyo says, rainy day, good day to go to Tokyo. Tokyo wasn't in our plans. He said, we are going to Tokyo. Okay. So early morning, breakfast at the hotel, fabulous. If you like Japanese food, fabulous. So many different kinds of food, so much fish, and just so much. I'll show you at some point. And then we went off to by the train to it goes in half an hour. The train actually goes from Odawara into Shinjuku. And so we went to ride at Shinjuku. Then we took the metro underground to Asakusa. And then we took the metro back to Shibuya. So lunch at Shinjuku, dinner at Shibuya. And then we took the taxi to Shinagawa. And from there, we took the Shinkansen back to Odawara. But we'll show you. So adventures on the way. We came across a pretty girl who was all dressed up for her graduation party. So this is a combination of modern clothes with the traditional style. You can see the top has the very traditional kimono sleeves, but she's got a skirt on. It is traditional, but it's modernized. And then catching the train. This is one of the other trains. Toyo-san and Kulan talking. And then we reached Shinjuku, and Keiko, always prepared, brought out 4 umbrellas. And we took out our umbrellas and went out, and it was pouring. Interestingly, you can near here go above ground on the street. It was really nice. In spite of the rain, you can believe we had a good time. I love that illusion on the wall. So Shinjuku at the crossing. Many of you have probably seen this. Kolan has to tell your story.
Let's keep going, and we'll come back to this
Okay.
if necessary.
Okay.
Tokyo is when you say Tokyo, it actually comprises of a whole bunch of districts, each of which is sort of a town or a city in itself. So when I proposed to our host that we visit Tokyo, one of the things I had in mind was there is a restaurant in Shinjuku that is known as Nakamuraya. And Nakamuraya is known to foodies as being a food destination because of the curry that they produce. This curry is known all over Japan, apparently, and to other people outside the country as well, those who are interested in good food. Nakamura has a very interesting and fascinating story attached to it. And when I told my host that, I'd like to visit this place because of the connection of this place with India. He said, tell me more. And so I told him the story that I'm about to relate to you as quickly as I can. Uh, the story has to do with a fellow named Rashbihari Bose. And those of you who are familiar with Calcutta or from Calcutta will know that there's a big avenue in Calcutta called Rashbihari Avenue. Everybody knows the name Rashbihari Avenue, but nobody really remembers who Rashbihari was. His full name was Rashbihari Bose, and he was a freedom fighter. He was one of these revolutionaries. We are talking about the 1920s, that era. So it predates Netaji Subhash Bose, and not to be confused with Subhash Bose. So this Rashbihari Bose had carried out some terrorist activities in India, including an attempted assassination of, at the time, Viceroy Lord Hardinge. And the police were looking for him all over India, and he decided that it was prudent for him to leave India, go into hiding. So he did that. He got a passport under under a false name of the Rabindranath Tagore family, and so that he would not be scrutinized too much. And he escaped. He managed to leave India, and he found himself in Japan. In Japan, he was all alone. He had no contacts. He didn't know the language. He was quite at a loss. But the Japanese intelligentsia knew of his activities and sympathized with him. So what they did was they put him in hiding in Tokyo in this district called Shinjuku. In Shinjuku, he was in hiding with a family named Soma. The Soma family took care of him for many years, and he was living with them in hiding also in Japan because the Japanese police were also looking for him on the request of the British. So, in any case, long story short, he cohabited with the family. He fell in love with the daughter of the family. And here in this picture, we see Rashbihari Bose with his wife. When I told this story to my host, he said, "Oh, let me find out more about this." And he made all kinds of inquiries. He made phone calls and talked to the Soma family descendants and all that. And he wanted to know what happened to the Nakamuraya establishment. He drew me a complete map of the family tree, both in Japanese and in English. This is something that I, on my own, not knowing the language, would never have been able to unearth. But anyway, he gave me a detailed picture of what's happening. Nakamuraya is still owned by the Soma family and so on. The reason that Rashbihari Bose is interesting to this story is that at the time when Bose showed up in Tokyo, the Nakamuraya establishment was not doing well. It was just a bakery, and the bakery was not doing well. Bose suggested, why don't I make a curry for you guys and you put that on the menu and let's see what happens. So he did. He created the curry that is known as the Bose curry in Japan. They put it on the menu and things took off. Nakamura became a almost overnight sensation. Everybody wanted to have that curry. Here's a picture of some of that curry from today, not 100 years ago that I was talking about. But everybody flocks to this place for the curry. And so Bose's curry became well known. The Soma family is still running Nakamuraya for 100 years. Bose was never part of the establishment of the restaurant itself. So then we partook of the curry. The curry itself is nothing to write home
It's
about.
a good
It's
curry.
great,
It's a
but
good curry.
yeah, but it's just the experience of enjoying a meal with these historical connotations in the back of our mind. So I had a great time participating in
And I
this.
think they did too. And they liked the Indian curry and they like Indian food. So they really enjoyed it. So you can
Is
see
that chicken?
it's chicken curry. Yes. Uh-huh. Very nice. So then our goal was to go to Asakusa. Asakusa has a famous shrine. So we went to the subway and this is just a little map to show you. The green area is the Asakusa Shrine and temple area. Anyone who goes to Tokyo will tell you this is the most famous temple to go to. The Asakusa line is down below here. It's the Ginza line coming out at Asakusa. And we got out there and see in blue or purple, it says Nakamise. Nakamise is this street full of little shops to the shrine. It just reminded me completely of Indian temples and how they have this little rasta going to the temple, full of people selling you sweets and flowers and everything for the temple and everything else. You can get henna, you can get whatever you want on the way to the temple. So we went there. And one of the fun things that I got was I found an old kimono shop. And I don't have a photograph to show you, but kimonos are very expensive. These guys had the most gorgeous kimonos for like $10. Um, but you know, they're so heavy. I finally decided I couldn't buy it. I bought a short half kimono of cotton, like a little dressing gown, and that was it. So this is to show you the Nakamise street. It was raining. It was everyone had umbrellas. And I'll just show you a little video. It's so much fun. All the little shops with curios and people wearing kimonos. Many tourists wearing kimonos. Really proper. And then this is the gate to the temple. It's a very large gate called the Kinarimon Gate. Beautiful structure. And then we got back to the Ginza Line Asakusa station here and now it was already getting late. We had to have dinner. Toyo had booked this amazing dinner for us. So here we are. We took the subway and we came out at Shibuya. Shibuya is the most fashionable among many fashionable areas in Tokyo. This is one of the most fashionable, most hip, most trendy places. Still raining. We got out. So Shibuya, you can see down in the lower left. And we walked to this absolutely inconspicuous door that goes up to a restaurant. And
So
it's a very,
Bharati, your voice is low now.
oh, okay, so the hand was on the,
Oh, sorry.
so just like last time, I put the paper right on the microphone. So the this man, he used to be part of some other restaurant, and Toyo got to know him, and he is from Odawara. And Toyo liked his food, and he decided to start his own restaurant using local foods. He comes every morning from Odawara, buys his fish in Odawara from the beach, and hand cooks himself the food and hand serves it himself to his guests. It's a tiny little place. And you can see we're the only guests today. It'll hold up to, I think, maybe 12 or 15 people. And he does corporate dinners usually. And this was the menu. So it's a formal menu with appetizer, fish, the meat, the pasta, the dessert. Very formal European menu, but with totally Japanese food. So you can see the appetizer is cod milk and beef tendon custard, and there's a veggie thing that I can't even understand. By the way, all the translation is this one he gave us, but I was doing Google Translate on everything to try to understand what we are eating. And with everything, he brought out a different wine. With every course, he brought a different wine. Toyo said, aside, he said, you know what? The meal is expensive. The wine is more expensive.
Yes, in Japan. Yes.
Yeah, but these are all Japanese wines. Very nice. You never see these wines here. So this is the appetizer. Here's the cod milt. This is the beef tendon custard. You wouldn't know there was a piece of meat anywhere in there. And this is the mushroom and some kind of marinated thing. And this green thing, by the way, I wish I'd kept the photograph for it. It is, if you see how in a tree in spring, how off of the trunk, a little branch starts growing, tiny little branches growing. They pluck these tiny shoots off the tree, dip it in like a tempura type batter, fry it. So delicious, tasty, tender. This is from the Angelica tree, which makes a kind of a condiment. And this cod milt, very juicy. I hate to tell you guys, maybe I shouldn't say it, huh? Okay. You can ask me privately later.
If you want to know what it is, look it up.
It's
Oh.
called cod milt, M-I-L-T. And just play this one a little bit. This is Toyo telling us about the fish. And if you can't hear it, I'll repeat it.
This boat at the Odawara beach.
Odawara Beach. Yeah, okay.
And there the Odawara beach is sun beach.
So it's a fish caught on the Odawara beach itself. It's called, the beach is called Sagawa, it's a Sagami Bay. And it's a sand-dwelling fish. The beach is, or if you go there, it's all rocky, sandy, you know. No fun to be at, but it is a beach and the fish live down there. So, and this is cooked in this plastic, steamed in it. Different wine, the Chardonnay for the fish. Then this is venison. He was going to give us Wagyu beef, but I didn't know. I was told 3-4 days before, do you want beef or deer, or etc. etc. Kolan said deer, so okay, fine. So this is venison. Very tender. I love the way he's got one green bean. And then the red wine with the beef. I'm showing you all these because it was such an amazing dinner. And the photographs in the back are from Toyo's, some of them are from Toyo's and his friends' collections. Toyo is also, now that he's retired from Fuji, he's a photographer, a published photographer. And then we took the Shinkansen, went to Kanagawa, took the Shinkansen back again to Odawara. I better hustle. Day 4, day of rest, supposedly. So this one, I'm going to show you a video and I'll show only half of it. This is breakfast. I loved breakfast every day there. So these are all different veggies. That is a kind of a tofu. This is daikon. This particular tray is all Odawara fish, Odawara daikon, Odawara, everything local. And these are root veggies stewed. This is dried horse mackerel, again from the local beach. That's dried and fried, and the other one is fresh and fried. So I'll stop it right there. There's so much food all around. Every morning we enjoyed all the food. So this is the horse mackerel dried and then fried.
So
Golan
Bharti, your sound is going down again.
Okay. When is this done, Mike? Okay. And this I had this every day. This is fresh fried mackerel. There was some chicken cutlets that was so good. And radish dyed pink for sakura season, cherry blossoms. And then in the morning, we decided to take a walk. There's Odawara Castle nearby. It's only like half a mile less than that away. We took a walk there. It's beautiful. However, it's modern, meaning old Odawara Castle burnt down, as has a lot of the old Japanese architecture, and they reconstruct everything to the authentic look. So this is a reconstructed Odawara Castle. Just like when you go to Kyoto, much of Kyoto is actually burnt and reconstructed. We came across this statue of Kintaro, and I'm going to show you something. Yeah, this is Kintaro. No, the other guy was Kintaro. This is Kojiri or something. I forget his name. I'm sorry. From the 800s. This man is a scholar from the 800s, lived locally, and he studied and studied, and he decided there was a better way to farm. And so he is the person who had these little irrigation channels created all through the countryside so that you could get water into every, I'll have to show it to you later, into every field. So there's irrigation channels everywhere, and then sub-channels and sub-channels with little gates, and so much water in Japan. So had lunch sitting in the plaza there, next to the hotel. The big blue thing is our hotel. This is the old Edo marketplace reconstruction. Then Kolan had his much desired nap, which he never got most days, but that day he got it. And I went for a walk around town. This is the bus station. And then that evening, we took the milk train again and met our friends at a local microbrewery. You want to tell them about the water?
Yeah, it turns out water is quite a precious commodity. All over Japan, of course, but especially in this area. One of the reasons why we went to this remote area is that Fuji Film has their main plant in the vicinity. As I said, my friend, our friend Toyo, worked there for many years. One time I asked Toyo, why did Fuji Film locate its plant here in this remote area? And he said, oh, it's a very simple reason. It's the water. The water here is the most pure that we could find. And Fuji Film, which is totally film-based, was at that time, was in the business of creating emulsions for film, all of which requires a lot of water and a lot of good pure water. This was the best water we could find, and so we put the factory there. So this water is very pure, and one result is that a lot of breweries want to create beers. If they want to create beers, they want to use this water. We went to this brewery, which, according to Japanese pronunciation, is known as Garapago rather than Galapagos.
This is Galapagos, by the way.
Yes. So you'll get a kick out of the name of this place, as they call it. So this place is well known for its beer, and they put out a flight of beers for us to have.
This is the owner.
This
He's
is-
the owner,
Yes.
microbrewery, beer maker, and runs this restaurant.
Yes.
So, and again, this is Kaisei, which is the next town to Minami Ashigara, and beautiful sunset. Mount Fuji is just over. If you walk around in different directions, you will actually see Mount Fuji's tip. And just we had a wonderful dinner. Keiko-san, afterwards, when she saw this photo, she says, I laugh too much. And it's really good that you laugh like this. I had to show you this photo. We got back, and our hotel is built on a hot spring. It's built on a hot spring. It's a Japanese hotel. It's not a Western hotel. They have Western foods, and the rooms are all, proper rooms. But they have a hot spring, and they have hot baths, separate for men and women, and you can use them. So they provide clothes for it. They provide towels for it. So I told Kolan, you know what? Got to try this once. He said, watch out. You're going to have to, they're all naked there. I said, oh, got to try it. So I put on the clothes that they give to go to the hot spring. And yes, there are like dozens of women in there, no clothes, all showering, getting into the hot water. I was very embarrassed, but I did it. Kolan refused. He did not go. So day 5, Hakone, somebody had mentioned going to Hakone. We went to Hakone National Park. This is the group that went. So Toyo, Keiko, Kolan, me, and their youngest daughter, Yumi, who happened to be in the house with them at that time, between jobs. Our usual great breakfast. We invited them to breakfast. So they had breakfast with us before we went. And this is Kolan demonstrating how he eats fish.
How Bengalis eat fish.
So there's nothing left. And let me...
Hakone is a really touristy area. As I said, the water is great there. It also is the source of a lot of the hot springs activity. And so it's considered to be a very healthful area, and it's full of resorts and so on. And basically, a tour of Hakone involves doing a big circuit that involves a train ride. And the train ride then
This orange is the train.
meets up with
Oh, this is the train. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, this is the train, and then you go to Vora, uh, which is the terminus for the train, and then from there you take a cable car, the segment in green, and then the pink segment, which is a ropeway. And the ropeway, we'll see pictures of these. The ropeway then ends up at Lake Ashi, where you get to take a ship. So doing this circuit involves various modes of transport, and then at the end of the ship travel, you can take a train or a bus back to Odawara.
So, and this orange part, the train is very steep, so a lot of switchbacks and tunnels. So we took a regular train, then we took the Hakone Tozan train.
Yeah, as I said, I'm a train buff, and I studied the train system very carefully and very with a great deal of delight. They are running trains which are basically not narrow gauge but meter gauge trains. I was amazed. And it involves a lot of switchbacks. It's a single track train system
Only one
all the way up and down the mountain. All the stations are where the trains meet and cross each other. This is one of them.
And so, and it's one of those hairpin beds. So you go in on one way and come out the other way, and you'll see how you switch out there. And that's how they climb the mountain.
We have moved over to this other track.
And pretty scenery along the way. Up to Gora station. At Gora, we had done 3 such switchbacks and I think 7 or 11 tunnels. At Gora station, we moved over to the cable car. And you can see this is like San Francisco's cable car, cable pulling up the track.
That
And-
cable between the two rails is what's pulling us up the mountain.
And so you can't quite tell, but this is going up. And, when you look at the houses on the side, you can see that they're going up. And then the top, we reach this place which has, again, its own hot springs and this nice bath for people's feet. And they're all doing it. They're all taking off their shoes and putting their feet in the hot water. And this shows you now the ropeway from Sunzan to the highest point, Owakudani, and down. Actually, the ropeway stopped there because it had broken or something, and they had buses. But we got the first part. And because of all the hot springs and volcanic activity, they're actually very serious about your protection, about the sulfur, that you don't damage your lungs. And they provide these little towels and wrapped up in packets. And indeed, that's what we found. And my goodness, hot springs, sulfur gas. Oh my God, look at that. I can smell it too. So you can smell the sulfur as you are taking that cable car, and then when you get off. In the cable car itself, you can smell, not cable car, ropeway, you can smell the sulfur. And we reached Owakudani, the highest point, and not just the highest point, they have this funny thing, because of all these construction, I never could figure out what all the construction was about. But that's a part of the station in front. And again, in case there's a volcano, go hide. The funny thing is the black eggs. One of the things for tourists is they boil the eggs in the volcanic springs, and it turns black with the sulfur. And so, of course, we have to go to the restaurant and eat that. And here are the black eggs, and you shell them, and it's a regular egg inside. perfectly boiled, of course. So we enjoyed that and some other food. And then we had to take the substitute bus because the ropeway stopped there and went down to Togendai. And then we took the pirate ship to cross Lake Ashi. This is so crazy. Took the pirate ship and went down Lake Ashi, got off at the other end. And turns out that the south end of Hakone is where the old Edo Road passes between Tokyo and Kyoto. Kyoto was the original capital. Tokyo, Edo became the later capital in the 1600s or so. 1600, yes. And so there were checkpoints along the way. So people were not allowed to go from province to province. And so we went to see the reconstruction of that checkpoint, beautifully done with these right on the water with these statues and stories written out everywhere and guides to explain it to you. The where they, this is where you show up and get checked, and the soldiers and their kitchen area, the sentry post way up high, the in-gate, the out-gate. And then, of course, I've jumped straight to that evening. We went to a different kind of a restaurant, a little hole in the wall for, this was in Odawara, where they serve robata yaki. And robata yaki is typical village cooking on a fire. It's barbecue. It's just barbecue. And this is a little lane going towards these restaurant areas in Odawara. According to Toyo, this is the kind of place where after work they would go and hang out and drink beer and eat food. You know how in the old days they used to stay out till 10 p.m. at night, all the workers. And just show you, and then this is barbecue. So you get your prepared skewers, you choose what food you want to eat. They'll cook it for you right there and give it to you. And this was I forget, what's it, like an anchovy type fish or something? I don't know.
Okay.
Day 6 was the last day there. It was a quiet day. They said, okay, the cherries are doing better. So they took us out to see cherries. Our favorite breakfast, I tell you. These little green things in front are shishito peppers. For those of you who like shishito peppers, they're delicious cooked like this. The cherry blossoms are definitely blooming more. We had a good time there. So pretty. And now you can see fewer buds. And the farmers had set up their little market. So they're selling kinds of citrus that we are not familiar with. They come in their little trucks and set up. And you can see the local land. These are all individual people's plots of land that they're all farming with rice. And you can see the irrigation channels everywhere, all the crisscross. That's irrigation channels. They showed us one of the old houses, which has been preserved, big thatch roof with many rooms inside. A lot of tourists come to see that. We went back to their house. Kolan immediately collapsed in their sunroom. He loved it. He said, we got to build one of our own. He liked it so much. Then we said goodbye. And they said, not goodbye, we're going to have dinner with you. So we met at a very traditional restaurant for sashimi, and beautifully presented sashimi. And the third kid, the middle girl, the daughter, who wasn't able to come before, she came from Nagoya with her 2 kids, and the girl, Haruya, 12 years old, 13 years old, 12, just finished middle school, big exam that they take to get into high school. Depends, which high school you get into. And so they were celebrating that day because she had got her results. They brought this kind of a rice, a type of a rice they cook for celebration. I have to shoot, I don't remember the name. Anyway, she gave us a gift of rice. And then we took our group photo. And then day 7 was really goodbye. Keiko and Haruya came to the station to see us off. Please note Haruya's Starbucks bag, very favorite of hers. And then Japan Airlines at Haneda and home. Shorter trip, 9.5 hours back, but that was it. So Um, Prabjit, Vijay, back to you.